from Studio B, and welcome to SB native Pete Dal Bello. I'm Pete Dal Bello, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Jetsibe Sandoval. Jetsibe, we have another exciting show tonight with great guests.
We do. But you know, Pete, you're always talking about doing your research, and I did research of my own, and guess what I found?
Oh, no.
So, here you are as a little boy, very patriotic, I might add. Your Aunt Elaine said that you were almost 6 years old when this picture was taken.
Yes, remind me to thank her someday for telling you about that photo. But it does prove that I used to be good looking.
Pete, our guests tonight are Jordi Zaraza and Nadia Bernardi.
That's right. Jordi is our first guest, and he is a life relationships coach. Jordi, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me, Pete.
Yeah, welcome, Jordi. So, Jordi, you're from Mexico, but you spent nearly half of your life here. What some people don't know is that in addition to being a life coach, you're a dancer. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that's one of the amount of things that I do. Well, I used to dance professionally for about 10 years. I left it on the side when I started my coaching practice, but I still dance here and there. I try to feed my dancing.
Oh, yes, you do.
and you don't just dance here. You performed in Las Vegas on July 8th, and salsa and fusion dancing. Could you tell the audience what fusion dancing is?
Well, what happens in Las Vegas that specific weekend is the first weekend of the year. I'm sorry, the first weekend of July. Every year there is a salsa festival.
Really?
Where the best dancers in the world meet, and we have a lot of fun. There is classes, there is teaching, there is social dancing, there is performances.
Oh, wow. So that's a big, I bet there's thousands of people that are at the whole event when you add it all up.
3,000 to 5,000 people,
Wow.
yes.
I thought you were going to go with what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
I honestly thought you were going there too.
Yeah.
No, I'll bring it back.
Okay.
So like the fusion's kind of like mixed of different dances, or it's just all salsa?
What it is that I did a show in fusion salsa style, which means that we put together hip hop, Michael Jackson style,
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
salsa, and ballet all together.
Wow. Now that's crazy.
That's very interesting.
So I love dancing, and lots of people love dancing. And there's a picture of Pete dancing when he was 4 years old. I want to show this picture.
Oh my God! You know, you're looking up lots of things. You know, the CIA should have you work for them with everything you're bringing to the show.
I'm looking forward to see that picture.
Yeah, there it is, right up there.
Yes.
And this actually it's from my second cousin, Teresa Valla Jansen, and that's the two of us dancing at her wedding. And you know, I actually still look the same. I'm just much taller. So you know, thank you, Teresa.
So Jordi, getting into your career, there's a lot of stress in the world. What advice would you give people who's nervous about doing something, such as going to a job interview or giving a speech?
Oh, it's quite simple. One thing that people has to understand that nervous and excitement is exactly the same activation in our brain. So if you feel nervous to go to an interview or anything in your normal daily life, is that it's a creation that we are doing so we can avoid facing the obstacle that we're facing.
I see. Because you know, I never get nervous.
I can see that.
I make lots of people around me nervous, but I never.
Yeah, I feel nervous now.
You just got to tame that nervousness.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. You know, so do clients usually come to you with goals, or do they come looking for help with a specific problem?
Well, actually, clients come to me saying that something sucks in their life.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, that's pretty
So
specific,
either my relationship sucks, my job sucks, my life sucks. But the reality is that that's a big picture that we all create. It takes about 10 questions to find out really what is going on.
I see.
With the specific client.
I see. So kind of like, I guess, re-examining their problem, whatever the specific problem they have, to kind of like breaking it down to breaking it down to smaller parts. Is that
Well,
how you would describe it?
we as the humankind, we like to exaggerate our problems, so we determine that they don't have a solution.
I see.
So we make a big picture of something that is quite simple. I always say that it's as simple as finding, understanding, or finding the right tools for you to do whatever you want to achieve.
I see. I see. Is there one specific problem that you find that clients have compared to others, or it's just varied? Because everybody's different.
Well, there is I find that the big reason why problems are so damaging people is that we tend to put the power on something else, like either on somebody, let's say there is a relationship, we try to blame it on our significant other, or if it's at work, we try to blame on our boss or our employees in the opposite hand, and that becomes the source of the problem, because we leave it now out of our hands.
I see.
So we just stand by to suffer.
So what you're talking about is kind of like teaching people to take ownership.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
I would call responsibility. When we take responsibility of what is in our hands and do anything that is in our hands and find out more sources to do more actions in pro of whatever we want to achieve, it's quite simple.
Okay, wow, you make it sound so easy.
It is actually.
Okay, so what motivates you, Jordi? How can people become more self-motivated?
Well, it is not what motivates me. It's about what if we want to find motivation in doing something, you just have to find a why. Why do you do things?
I see.
It is quite simple to set a goal, but if you don't have a reason for you to achieve that goal, you most likely gonna give up or find an obstacle very hard to overcome, and you're just gonna stop.
So what gets you out of bed every morning to do your job?
Find that solution for that person that thought that wasn't able to ever overcome something.
It's never a boring day, because there's no 2 days are the same.
Definitely no. Yeah, there is all kinds of situations, conversations that quite simple can solve any issue, any obstacle, any problem.
And how long have you been a life coach?
Professionally, I've been doing it for over a year. Although I always have been into coaching family, friends, and also having in charge of big groups of people.
I see. That's great. And Jordi, I do my research. I always do my research. And actually, this one was easy because I saw this on your website.
Oh, wow.
So, and it is the following. I found it very interesting.
Yes.
I always try to learn new things every day. Even Albert Einstein had a personal coach.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I
didn't know that.
And I guess they didn't call it that back then.
Well, I bet not.
Yeah.
I bet they were called, I don't know, advisor or something like that. But if you see anybody who has had success throughout the history, definitely they had a person who was giving them the input, giving them the motivation or whatever they need so they can achieve a high level.
I would have never suggested to him a personal coach. No offense, I would have told him to find a hairstylist. But
Some people think their hairstylist is their coach. Okay,
well,
don't judge.
Maybe that personal coach was his hairstylist. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. But I know, getting back to goals, we mentioned goals earlier. Now I know there are some people that have issues that require tissues. Everyone is different, but why do people give up on their goals?
Again, I think it's because they don't have a strong why. For you to achieve any goal, definitely takes a daily sequence of actions. And if you don't consistently find a reason to do those actions, you're probably gonna give up. Or stop doing those actions that will take you to achieve that goal that you set. I was recently talking to a friend who has set a goal of wake up early every day to run. And he was telling me that it was becoming harder and harder every day. But if we all know, the more that you do it, it will become easier. But his why is what is missing out there. He just set a goal without any purpose. At the beginning, it was interesting. It was easy to do it. But now that it's been a couple months, it's like, why am I doing this? And since he doesn't have a strong why, He's thinking about giving up.
And there's a famous quote. I think it's from Vince Lombardi, the great football coach. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was Vince Lombardi that said, "The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender." And I think about that. Just like one of the things I think about is I don't want to live with regret that, hey, that if I just made that one more sales call or something like that, who knows, that might have been the one. You know what I mean? That I made the sale. You know what I mean? I don't want to look back and say, you know, what if?
Very wise words.
Yeah.
I really think that regret is the biggest pain. So I invite everybody, if they want to achieve anything, to do whatever it takes, because that regret, it's gonna be the payoff if you don't do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Really interesting.
Definitely.
So, Jordi, I know that you're a parent of 2 teenagers.
Yes.
Wow. So, as a coach, do you plan on to expand your focus on parenting?
Yeah, I actually do a lot of volunteering in that field. I work with organizations that help and empower teenagers to follow their dreams. So yeah, and besides that, I have plans to write a book about how to become a parent of a teenager, and and also how to be a teenager. How to be a good parent when you become a teenager.
Oh, wow.
My point is that when I became a parent when I was a teenager.
Oh, I see. So you have...
And I went through the struggle to figure out on my own. So I didn't have a source or any book that I could teach me how to do that.
Oh, wow.
And I think it's imperative to have the tools so we can be a good parent for our children.
So, was it easy finding your why in that situation?
It was easy. It was easy, definitely. If I have a reason, you can find the way.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, your sons' names are Hector and Abraham.
You know, you got them right.
See?
I like those names.
Yeah.
Abraham.
And then where are they going to school?
They're going
it's
to
the summertime right now, obviously, but...
They're going to high school in Carpinteria.
Oh, okay, great. And then that's wonderful. And then I would definitely, when you have the book ready, you'll have to come back and join us, and we could talk about that. I know that's going to help a lot of people.
Definitely, yeah. We'll still a long way to do it, but definitely I will share that information as soon as it comes out.
Please do. And we want an autographed copy and everything.
That's great. Well, thank you, Jordi, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And,
it was a pleasure.
We'll be right back with Nadia Bernardi after a word from our sponsors. Tonight we have someone that has known me my entire life. So, Jatsiba, you could send our next guest a sympathy card at your leisure.
I plan to.
You know, and when I think of Nadia Bernardi, who's came to this country from Italy years ago, I not only think of her as an associate producer of this show.
1969.
Oh, really? There you go. But also her love for animals. And Jatsiba, help me welcome Nadia Bernardi.
Hello, Nadia.
Hello,
I love
Jatsiba.
your devotion to animals. Sorry.
Thank you.
So, as the three of us all here love dogs, 2 more than others, but
Yes.
I have a statue at home.
There's always one in the crowd, you know.
So before we learn about these 2 doggos, I want to show everyone a picture of my baby Haas.
That's a beautiful picture. Yes, that's a beautiful picture of Jatsiba and her dog Haas. And now, Nadia, tell us about the 2 dogs you brought with you.
Well,
Who's
this
this
is
little doggo?
Big Daddy,
Big Daddy.
and he was a rescue from the San Bernardino shelter, which is a very high kill shelter.
I see.
And my friend and partner in my business is Ryan Schatz.
Ryan
Went down
Schatz, uh-huh.
and rescued him and brought him to me because he's a senior and he's over 15 for sure. We don't know how old he is exactly, and he's a little bit blind. And he's very happy in my home, so he's more comfortable there.
Oh, he
so
lives with you.
Oh yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, this is my baby.
And then who's the dog that Jet Seabay's holding?
And this is little Minnie, and
Minnie.
she's another rescue, but she lives with Ryan, and she's just a little she's our little girl. She's the younger one in the group because most of our dogs are seniors,
I
and
see.
they're all rescues.
I see. Well,
And she's the little girl, but this is the older one. So we brought the youngest and the oldest.
how old is Big Daddy?
We're not sure, but over 15 for
I see.
sure.
And then
we don't know
and
for
Minnie,
sure.
How old is Minnie?
And Minnie is like 6.
Minnie is going to be
Yeah.
an extra host. It looks like
And
on the
she's
show.
she's very
know?
excited about being here. You know, she doesn't know what's going on.
Might be the first time she's been on camera.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
So you have quite a history with animal adoption,
Yeah, yeah.
animal rescue, and animal advocacy.
Yes, yes.
So what motivates you to be so involved?
Well, it started a long time ago for me. I mean, of course, like everybody, I started with one dog and one cat, and then I got a little involved with some of the many nonprofits that we have here in town. And as I worked with them and got involved in some of the demonstrations and the protests, and the more I kept getting involved, the more animals I kept adopting, you know, so the family became big, you know.
I see.
And then I really started loving what I was doing, and it made me very happy. So I decided to get involved 100%. You know, it's my life now. So
Great.
I started about 20 years ago, and I've volunteered my time with many organizations in this town, and now I'm wanting to open my own shelter.
Great. Great.
Yes.
And
So, and it's going to be it's going to be very specialized because I want to do a retirement home and hospice for old dogs and cats.
That's such an amazing
Yes.
idea.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
so many get brought to the shelter in old age. You know, sometimes people abandon them when they get older. Why? I don't know, but they do. And then those dogs, they're hard to adopt out. You know, people don't go to a shelter and say, "Oh, I want the oldest dog you have." You know, and God bless the people who do. But a lot of people usually want a younger dog and someone that they can train and have longer for a longer period
And
of
this-
time. So this place would be an environment where the dogs get to spend the rest of their lives and not in a cage, in a home environment. And Ryan and I already have the space. You know,
see.
it's up at the bottom of 154, and
That's the Rancho Tranquilo?
Rancho Tranquillo.
Or Tranquillo,
Yes.
And that's the Give to Pets
Yeah,
nonprofit. That,
that's gonna do the shelter.
I
But
see.
Ryan has a business there also. He does doggy daycare, and he also does rescue. So I mean, between the two of us, there's plenty of room. It's 12 acres of land, and we have a very nice space there.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
there's plenty to do. But we really hit the whole spectrum on some level.
Oh, definitely.
But the goal is to open in the new year
I see.
a retirement home for dogs where people, you know, rather than bring them somewhere where they're going to be in a cage or kind of a closed environment and pass away with strangers, they can be in a loving home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's wonderful. When it
Yeah.
opens, you definitely have to come back and tell us more about it.
I
And-
will, I
'cause
will,
One
you
of the
know.
things I've mentioned to Jet CB and I mentioned to other people that love dogs like we do
Yeah.
is that dogs, when they know you love them, they unconditionally love you back. You know how it's like
Oh.
there are people in society that only see a person as for their status, but dogs, when they know you, they love you. They don't care who you are. They
Yes.
know you love them for them, and they send that love back to you.
And unfortunately, they love their owners even if they're not kind to them. You know,
Yeah.
the dog is always loyal to their owner and to their pack leader. You know, so it's very unfortunate when people mistreat their dogs
Yeah.
because they don't understand the level of loyalty
Oh,
and love that the dog has for them.
We honestly don't deserve these beautiful, noble
Exactly.
creatures.
But it's the same for all animals. You know, I work across the spectrum with cats. I have a lot of cats that I've rescued, and I work with a lot of cat organizations. And there are so many, like we have buns in Santa Barbara for the bunnies. We have pig rescues. We have the Wildlife Care Network that rescues everything in the wildlife spectrum that you can imagine. I mean, we have the best organizations in this town that work with so many people that volunteer and work so hard to rescue a lot of animals and keep them in very good conditions.
very blessed here.
and take care of them. We're blessed. We really are. Because I think Santa Barbara is very special that way. You know?
And we're
Very
also special because there's people like you in this
Oh,
community.
thank you, sweetie. Takes a village. You know what they say? Takes a village.
And I'm sure your good friend, you mentioned Ryan Miller Schatz, is a good
Yes,
friend of yours. He's
yes,
also
yes,
known
yes.
as the SB Doggy Guy.
Yeah,
he's
Santa
been
Barbara
very helpful.
Doggy Guy.
Because I know he does
Yes.
rescue and daycare.
And he does, yes, and he also he does a lot of daycare, and he's our Santa Barbara Caesar Milan. You know, I mean, he's very gifted with animals and especially dogs, and I've never seen anything like it. So he's got a gift.
How long have you
And,
two worked together with animals?
Well, you know, it was really strange because the first time that we met, we were at the Davies demonstration at the courthouse
Oh, yes,
for
I
the
remember that.
Davies dog. Yeah. And then we didn't see each other for a very long time, and then kept seeing each other at various other events and demonstrations and things. And so that's how we met, you know. And one day he put an ad on Facebook that he was in between homes, was changing homes, and he had a blind dog that needed to be fostered for a while until he found a more secure place, you know, because this little old senior dog just, you know, needed a special care, and he couldn't move him around too much, you know. So anyway, I responded to the ad, and that's how we connected and found out that we had so much in common and so much love for these animals, and that's when we decided to work together.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And then I know that you brought a book here, and it's called Cat Tales.
Oh, that's cute.
And,
Yes.
and it's written by a friend of yours. How do you pronounce
Jeffney
Telson.
Telson,
Jeffney
yes.
Telson.
And she's the founder and of Rescue Cats.
Of Rescue Cats,
Yes.
I see.
And this book is for sale at the Montecito Pet Shop. I think that's the only place you can get it right now.
And then I think
or
on
on
her-
Amazon.
And then I think on
Yeah.
her website
On
as
her
well.
website,
'Cause
yes.
she is the founder of Rescue Cats,
Yes.
which is a nonprofit.
Amazing place. Amazing.
It's a
Yes.
nonprofit sanctuary dedicated to the rescue, care, and adoption of abandoned cats and kittens.
Yes.
We're going to have on the lower half of the screen, we'll put the website address for Rescue Cats. I'm also going to mention, that's a nice cat.
And
too.
it's kitten season right now.
Oh, is
so,
it?
oh my God, do they all have a lot of kittens.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
And the other cat rescue that we really need to mention is ASAP.
That's right.
Are you going
I'm
there?
going to mention a
Yeah.
couple of them here. The Santa Barbara Wildlife Care Network, they are operating temporarily due to the holiday fire at the Santa Barbara Humane Society. and we have the website address. You're seeing that on the screen.
Yes.
And then two
And they
others.
do amazing work with birds, with all the wildlife, raccoons, anything that you may find. And if you find an injured bird,
Call them.
you can take it to them anytime. They'll always take it in, or you can take it to the care hospital or the cat and bird clinic, and they sponsor for that bird to be taken care of and to be brought to them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So if you're inconvenienced by going all the way out to Goleta, you can take it other places and they will take care of the bird.
Okay, great.
That's what I love about them.
And,
they're
and
so
two,
Yeah.
two more nonprofits real quick before
Yeah.
we have to go. Care for Paws, which works to reduce pet overpopulation, keep animals out of shelters, and improve quality of life for pets and pet owners in need. And also ASAP, which is Animal Shelter Assistance Program, which provides humane care for cats and kittens in Santa Barbara, California. Nadia, thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us.
And I could go on and on about both those organizations and
That's
would love to,
wonderful.
because they're all so deserving.
That's
And you're
wonderful.
All
definitely
four
gonna
of
be
them.
coming
All
back.
four of them are.
Definitely.
And yeah, a lot to be said about all of them. So
Definitely. And now I'm going to mention our sponsors who help make this show possible. Town Associates, Pawnee Vino, Via Vi, Tino's Italian Grocery, Dr. David Inman, who's the best chiropractor in town. He's located in Victoria Court in downtown Santa Barbara, Suite 24. Patrice Serrani, who's a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway on Coast Village Road in Montecito. Sheer Delights Lingerie and Accessories at 422 North Melpas Street, Suite 2, where sensuality begins. The International Chiari Association, the Craftsman District, and Dal Bello Productions. I want to also mention to watch us every week on Channel 17 at 9 p.m. on Mondays and 10:30 a.m. on Fridays. Connect with us online on Facebook at SB Native Pete Dal Bello, and you can watch all the episodes of this show on our YouTube channel at search Dal Bello Productions. I want to thank everyone for watching. Good night, everyone, and good night, Irene.